Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We have made it. It is week 1 of the NFL season. We are recording this on Wednesday, September 6th. If you are watching this or listening to this on Thursday when it drops, there is actual real NFL football tonight. We got a taste of it last week during the college football. And Aidan, I will say this, college football messes up Labor Day weekend because they need to own Labor Day weekend. And I don't feel like they own it enough. They need to own Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. For them to only have 2 games on Sunday and 1 game on Monday, it is a crime against humanity. Spread those Saturday night games out and give me games all day long on Saturday, all day long on Sunday, and on Monday, because that is the only true weekend of the year that they can own outright.
I agree with this take 100%. I think they're getting there. I saw the ratings for Oregon State, San Jose State on CBS did wonders. It was in the top 10 games of the weekend. Simply put, they played Sunday and nobody else competed with them. So just play more games on Sunday, play on Monday, take over the weekend. And the reason you have to take over the weekend, like you mentioned, it is your only chance because NFL season is back, baby.
We're back. But you know what is not back? Me playing fantasy football, Aidan. This is my first year. I have officially retired from fantasy. I'm out.
I have unofficially retired. Welcome, YouTube people. If you can see, here's my little draft. I have Jonathan Taylor and Cooper Kupp. So I have also unofficially retired. And if you're not watching on YouTube, I just showed my draft board, the physical stickers and all. So that is your hint to subscribe to our YouTube page for this year, because we'll be doing a ton of content. Like we said last week, shows every week on here, and then game reactions there as well as interviews. So yeah, I'm also unofficially retired from fantasy.
We will be doing our single one-on-one game week recaps. Maybe sometimes we'll jump on each other's if it's if all of a sudden the Cowboys lose a heartbreaker and Aidan knows I'm recording and he just hops on. Or of course, when the Cowboys and Eagles play against each other, we will do those recaps together. But today's show, we have a jam-packed show that we're going to try and keep condensed for you guys, so you're not sitting here for an hour. We are going to talk Eagles game, Cowboys game, and then we are going to do our always spectacular, always funny, always the biggest content of the year for us, season predictions.
The season predictions, the famous TikTok season predictions, or infamous, depending on how you comment on these.
So there's a lot going on in the NFL, right? Now Travis Kelce, is he going to play? Nick Bosa gets paid. What's going to happen with Joe Burrow this weekend? There is a ton across the NFL, and we do talk all NFL, but we have so much to get to today that we really need to stick to our games to start and then our predictions, Aidan. So my thought was we start with the Eagles because, hey, they play first.
That is, I love that. That is my favorite line of thinking. It takes out the decision-making process, but we just do it in chronological order.
There it is.
All right, let's get into it. This is exciting to actually talk about a game. I don't think we've been this fired up since I drafted 2 Georgia players on the same night. So let's do it. Eagles, Patriots, 425, Jim Nance, Tony Romo, Tom Brady. I think it's Tom Brady night there, I believe. That'll be something. Yeah, back-to-back years on the road to start, which is interesting because I think actually 3 straight years on the road to start. I think it makes it interesting because it's a little extra fanfare there for you. Yep. It's a good test early. I think this is going to be a good litmus test for the team. And I know that when we do our predictions, I don't know if either of us are going to have the Patriots win the AFC East, but I still think this is a very good litmus test for a variety of reasons.
I do as well. Eagles going on the road against a formidable coach, right? Best of the ever. What does Bill do best, even with teams that don't, lack talent? He's going to try to take away what you do best, right? So is that going to be Jalen Hurts running? Is he going to try and take A.J. Brown out of this game? But that's the problem with the Eagles offense. Okay, you take Hurts out of the game, you have a plethora of running backs. You take A.J. Brown out of the game, okay, here's Dallas Goedert and Devontae Smith. So I'm sure he has a plan of what he wants to eliminate, but how are they going to stop the rest?
It kind of reminds me of how the San Francisco Giants play baseball right now, where they almost have to scheme their way to wins to make up for a lack of talent. And it's like, okay, can Bill Belichick do that for the Patriots this weekend? Because when you look at the rosters on paper, it's the Eagles. It's the Eagles at almost every position. And the only way that the Patriots overcome that is by discipline, forcing turnovers, not making any mistakes in terms of penalties, turnovers themselves. So it's almost like they have to scheme their way to victory, and it makes it an interesting talent versus discipline matchup.
And real quick, I'm going off on a tangent here, but it just popped in my head. At the gym earlier today, I had an argument with an Eagles fan the opposite way. I was talking to somebody I know about the Cowboys and the Eagles, and she butted in the conversation because she watches so much football, that the Cowboys have the best roster in the NFL, and they should be winning every game, and that the Eagles have a mismatch at management, don't know how to manage football teams, and their coaching stinks. And then she brought up Dak Prescott's ankle, and I said, excuse me, did you just come out of a cryo chamber and think it's 2016? Because we're in 2023, and the Philadelphia Eagles absolutely have the better roster. She's like, no, I watch a lot of football. They definitely don't. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go over here now.
We were in the Super Bowl. I don't know. I'm gonna back up her point. I saw a stat today. The Cowboys, 2 years ago, before Dak got hurt, number 2 in offense in the league. And then last year, after he came back from injury, number 1 in offense in terms of points per game. So maybe she's not insane. Maybe she's right. Jerry Jones he's an evil genius.
I think it was just like you reincarnated as a woman like 4 years ago talking about Howie Roseman.
Wait, what?
I think she was just you like reincarnated as a woman 3 or 4 years ago talking about Howie Roseman. She's like, the organization just runs so poorly. I'm like, did you see the draft? I don't know.
Then all my prayers were answered. We got to get her with the time. Listen, I'm going to convert her now into the Howie cult that I have joined and brainwash her into believing what I believe now.
Look at that.
I think we can do it.
Howie Roseman, our number 1 fan. He absolutely listens to the podcast, and that's why he changed his entire draft strategy.
Yeah, it was a simple, just crossover. Simple transition to the common sense approach.
Let me give that a try.
Give that a try. Let's give it a try this weekend. I think I can keep this pretty simple. You're going to find out right away if this Eagles team is the same as Eagles in 2022. So if you look at the Patriots, saw the report today, Devontae Parker is not ready or not there in terms of health, I think with a hamstring. And the other report was that Juju Smith-Schuster's knee could explode at any time. That is not me being extreme, like maybe some of the things I said 4 years ago about the Eagles.
Yep.
That is just what was said. So their offensive tackle is on IR. He will not be playing. And then you have 2 receivers. Who knows where they are health-wise? One's knee could explode. The other one's not ready health-wise. If it's the Eagles of 2022, this is a game where it's hard to create separation against 2 good corners because 2 injuries for the wide receivers on the opposite side. 2022, a phenomenal, ferocious pass rush, getting after the quarterback. Is it the same with the tackle out for the Patriots? We're going to know right away if this is the same defense in terms of getting after the quarterback with pressure, with a great set of defensive ends rotating through, injuries on the offensive line, and a true lack of ability to make explosive plays, it seems, with the weapons available to Mac Jones. I want to see Mac Jones in so many 3rd and 12s. I feel like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day, just reliving the same thing over and over again. That's how I should feel by 6:30.
That seems like we have the same plan against the Joneses this weekend.
Yes.
Because that's exactly what I want to see Daniel Jones in all night long.
Daniel Jones, Mac Jones. And it's the same for the Cowboys. When we get into it, like they haven't beaten – the Giants have not beaten the Cowboys in 10 against Dak 10 straight times since his rookie year.
That's insane.
We want to see more of the same there, and you'll know to be confident in the Cowboys. If I'm seeing Hassan Reddick just pounce on Mac Jones on 3rd and 9, I know that the Eagles will be there as well.
Yep.
I'm also very confident as I say that, though. This will be a game where Ramondre Stevenson has 6 carries for 57 yards and a touchdown on the first drive, and everyone's like, oh, my God, it's over.
Oh, so you mean the Lions game from last year?
Yep, DeAndre Swift.
Yep.
Which leads me to my other point. On the offensive side of the ball, they are the Antichrist for fantasy players with that 4-headed monster in the backfield. And I think they're going to use all 4. I'm interested to see how they use them. And if you're trying to choose a running back, They've got 4 options, and their best goal line back is actually the quarterback. So best of luck to fantasy people figuring that mess out. But in terms of actual real life football, I'm excited to see how these guys get used. 2 new guys, and I think we've talked about this many times. Gainwell's probably going to get the most carries.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see how this new dynamic works, and the guys lining up next to Jalen Hurts. That's what I'm probably most excited for.
And I will take the credit, and you can thank me, because I was at the Eagles-Chiefs game 2 years ago, early in the season, when the fans actually bullied Nick Sirianni into running the football. Kenny Gainwell down by the goal line actually ran it in and scored. And that since then changed the entire dynamic of the offense and running the football. So you're welcome.
Thank you. That whole rest of the season, that's all they did was run. Then they figured out, what if we actually gave Jalen Hurts a receiver who's good and traded for AJ Brown? And that also helped. So
how about that?
We'll get into division predictions. This is bad to say, but I feel like I'm just looking over my shoulder for a debilitating injury, because that's the only thing that would hold this team back. And that's just not a good way to live, instead of just enjoying the moment. On paper, they are 10 points better than the Patriots.
So I saw a stat. Actually, Sal Palantonio was on Cowboys radio yesterday, and he was talking about Super Bowl teams the next season, and why they don't succeed. And there's 2 stats of why they don't succeed. 1, injuries. They sustain multiple injuries, and 2, a plethora. Actually, there was 3. 2, a plethora of turnovers. And 3, just not having the offensive explosion that they had the year before, which comes from the turnovers. And the Eagles had a great offensive year. They stayed healthy, and they didn't turn the ball over. So if a switch is flipped, those are going to be the only things I think that hold this team back, because the defense is there. The weapons are there on offense. It's going to have to be them being hurt or hurting themselves, if that makes sense.
That's literally all I can think about. And I go back to 2005 after they lost to the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and that year was a disaster. I think they went 4-12. But I also don't expect AJ Brown to be doing sit-ups in his garage driveway after he gets kicked out of practice and dismissed from the team. So if there was a team that could overcome these things, it would be the Eagles. And there's less emphasis. I think it's different now. Travis Kelce got hurt in practice, but the Chiefs kind of do an old school way of practice with Andy Reid. Eagles really aren't like that. It's pretty light. So, and they're going into this game healthy again. So Hassan Reddick practiced. Dallas Goedert missed a day. He's back. So they're there. It's the 53 guys you expect to be there are going to be there week 1. So we'll see. But again, it's just does a fluke of bad luck hit you this time, injury-wise?
Yep. I think you're in the driver's seat for this game in New England. I really do.
This is my last thing. This is going to be the most boring, generic thing we ever say on this show. I'm pretty freaking excited to watch Jalen Hurts play football again. I guess just exciting when you have a star on your team. You can trust them in any situation. You'll lose a game with him. They're not going undefeated. But it's pretty freaking fun when you have a guy who is a guy.
I'm going to need Vince, our producer, in the background to clip that with your draft reaction of Jalen Hurts. So your draft reaction, and then immediately into, I'm pretty freaking excited to watch Jalen Hurts play football. Need that video.
I've dropped my hands when they drafted him. I've been raising him up ever since, saying touchdown every time he touches the freaking ball.
You were just trying to keep everybody at bay. Nope, this is you just didn't want it because you were just still such a Carson lover. You just didn't want to hurt Carson's feelings, but you were excited.
Fair. Yes, I had to hide it. Oh man.
That's like when you're dating a girl and then a hotter girl comes and starts talking to you, and you're like, yeah, no. You got to let that one down easy and then go talk to her.
I was going to say, but this might hit too close to home. We might have to edit this out. I was going to say it's like when you get a promotion and you're excited, but you have to downplay it and be like, hey, with the competition, hey, man, this was tough. Everybody interviewed well, and just like, oh, yeah, sorry. Everyone's great here. All right.
There's no points for second place. Oh, I love it. All right, let's go Cowboys before we get predictions. So Cowboys on Sunday Night Football against the Giants because, of course, it's week 1 of the NFL season.
God.
Seems like it's every year. It's either the the Giants or Tampa to start the season, the last forever for the Cowboys. And they are on the road as well in MetLife Stadium playing against the Giants in New Jersey. And I mean, they just have to win this game, right? I feel like this is going to be a tighter game than some casual Cowboy fans think. Like you said, they're basically have won 10 in a row against the Giants since Dak has been a quarterback. But, you know, Giants were a playoff team last year. I think a lot of that definitely was luck, right? If you look at the games that they won, their turnover differential, their scoring to outscoring statistics, they shouldn't have had the record they had. But I am a believer, unfortunately, in Brian Daboll. I think he is building a team there. And I think Daniel Jones, you know, he's not in that first tier or that second tier, but I think he is not as bad as people say he is, right? I think he's underrated in that aspect. And, you know, he can run the football, and so can Saquon Barkley. And what has the Cowboys defense given up the last couple of years? It's run defense, right?
Mozzie Smith.
We'll see.
We'll see. Not day one, but that's why. Real quick, continue. Just one point on Daniel Jones. I was just like, it's so exciting to have a star in Jalen Hurts. And then you described Daniel Jones as, well, he's not as bad as people think. And I'm just really glad to not be in the, well, he's not as bad as you think category of quarterback.
He's a little bit better than just awful, like people say he is.
He's like not average. He's like above, you know.
But exactly what you explained with Mac Jones is what I want to happen with Daniel Jones, right? I need this Cowboys defensive pass rush to get after Daniel Jones all night long. I want them in those 3rd and 12s, and I want Micah Parsons on one edge, Sam Williams, hopefully his toe is good, on the other edge. You kick Tank inside with Osa Odighizuwa, and you just let those boys just go and just eat. And if that happens, I think they're going to get after Daniel Jones, and it's going to be a long night. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, this is going to be the unveiling of this Mike McCarthy, Brian Schottenheimer offense, right? The starters didn't see any play time during the preseason. So this will be the first time we're seeing the offense, right? The run the damn ball, the quick passes, which I think is going to help Dak Prescott, right? I think getting the ball out quick, using guys like Brandon Cooks, those young tight ends, CeeDee Lamb, that's going to help big time. My biggest question mark right now is Tyler Smith starting at left guard. Had a hammy in practice, left practice. They did an MRI. It's a strain. So I don't think I see him playing in this game with a strained hamstring. We shall see. But that means, who do you put at left guard? Is it undrafted rookie TJ Bass? Is it Asim Richards? Who is it? But whoever it is, they're going against Dexter Lawrence, and that's not fun. So my fear is that push up the middle. Tyler Biadasz is going to have to help out. And then you have Tyron Smith on the other side of this player who is aging, who isn't the same player that he's been, and we know he gets injured. So my biggest fear is that defensive pass rush, which the Giants have a pass rush. They can get after the quarterback. Is that going to be the downfall of this game? I hope not, but right now they're 3-point favorites on the road. I think that's about right. And we'll see what happens, but we need guys. We need stars to take over this game. Tony Pollard, Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, Stephon Gilmore. Those type guys need to ball out and just set the standards, right? Make a statement in week one. Having a division game in week one, that puts you at such an advantage if you're 1-0, not only in the season, but in the division already.
CeeDee Lamb is the one you talked about having stars. He dominated against the Giants at MetLife last year, and is just the guy that screams to me like is obviously there as a star, and I think can take another step to A-list star if we're doing it in terms of like entertainment value. And this would be a good start. Would be dominating against the Giants in week one again. And how crazy is it that Tyler Smith all of a sudden, like I feel like he skyrocketed to.
I think we actually need that video also of my draft reaction when he was drafted, and now me saying how upset I am that he might not be starting week one.
Exactly. He's probably the top 5 most important offense people on the team right now.
Yep. And They just locked up another Terrence Steele, their right tackle. He's locked up for the next 5 years. So they have been signing players kind of at will lately. And I think this shows that they know this roster is very close. And I think it is. I think the gap between the Cowboys and the Eagles, if health is taken out of the equation, it's going to be a street fight, I think, all season long.
This could be our best year yet.
Yeah.
The Office best season, I always say, is season 4. And this is our season 4.
Season 4.
Are we this season 4 of The Office? Could be.
Season 4 is not when – is that the one that started with the Asian guy pretending to be Jim?
No, that's later on. That's very funny, though.
That was one of the best.
they switch out like the family portrait
picture.
Yeah. Season 4 of Parks and Rec, also the best season. I think that's when Leslie runs for Office against Paul Rudd, which is hilarious. So season 4 is when you hit your stride. Is this season 4 for CeeDee Lamb or season 3? Season 4.
Season 4.
Yeah. Okay. Season 4 for everybody. Everybody needs to step up. It's also time. Season 4 for Jalen Hurts.
How about that?
The
time is now, baby.
Time is
now. So we'll see. I think
4.
the Cowboys should win this game. Make a statement. I will be in Montauk in Long Island watching this game, hopefully at a brewery or something, I'm hearing. So I don't know what Long Island fans are. Are they Jets fans? Are they Giants fans? I'm sure there'll be a little bit of both. Do they not watch football at all because they're like Hamptons people? I don't know.
So we'll Jets. See. Well, you're not in Long Island. You're in Montauk. I feel like that's a little bit different than Long Island. I feel like Long Island is Jets fans. Montauk, I don't know.
They're just people that fly in with like private jets and helicopters and don't, oh, football is on. That's cute.
Oh, yeah. My friend, he's like a minority owner in the Patriots.
Interesting. Cool. They won the Patriots won the Super Bowl last year? Oh, no. Oh,
yeah, he was like on a yacht with Tom Brady the other day.
Pretty cool. So
they were talking about this cryptocurrency, FTX.
I will say the same thing that you said. This is generic, but I am so freaking excited to watch this Cowboys team play. Let's just hit the games. Let's go. I'm ready to go. Yeah. No more talking. No more camp videos. No more BS. No more tweets. Just play football.
There are teams out there where you're like, well, I think even if you're bad, you still have like hope because you're like, all right. There's very few teams this year where I think they're like, I don't care what happens. Yep. The Cardinals fans are very much in I don't care what happens. But even like the Texans, like you're probably pretty invested with CJ Stroud. And I think they'll be all right. So everybody should be excited. But there's something extra when you're like, I think we could do it. Like, I think this could be it. Like how you just said, it was like the talent gap is not that wide. Like this could happen.
Yep, it definitely could. Speaking of other teams, Aidan, how about we do our predictions?
This is the moment that everyone's waiting for. When we say the Chargers are going to win the division and people comment for fucking 8 months afterwards telling us we're wrong. I cannot wait.
Love it.
The famous.
So infamous. My thinking is we'll start in the AFC and then we'll come to the NFC and end with the NFC East.
I agree with that as well. AFC first. We are an NFC podcast. So we'll do both AFC, NFC. Then we have Defensive Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and MVP for individual.
Love it.
So we've got a lot of good stuff.
All right, let's roll through this.
Yeah, let's start. AFC predictions in the AFC East. Would you like to go first?
Sure. I'm going the Buffalo Bills still. I think they still are a wagon. I know that their window is somewhat closing, right? The defense is getting older. Von Miller, we don't know. But they still have that big boy from Wyoming playing quarterback. They still have Stephon Diggs. They will still find ways to put up points. They will still find ways to play football games. Listen, I think the Dolphins are going to be right there. The Jets, who knows? And I think the Patriots have a chance to be better than people think. So this could be one of the best divisions in football. Mm-hmm. It could be the biggest street fight in all of football in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4. But I'm still going to go with the Bills.
I am going to go with the Bills as well. There's been a lot of hoopla around the Jets, and everyone's so excited for them. And everybody's been doom and gloom with the Bills. But the reason they've been doom and gloom isn't in regards to the division. It's because they can't win the big one against the Bengals or the Chiefs. This is a Bills team that's won double-digit games for 4 straight years. They've been dominating this division recently. I don't think it stops. There's a lot of hype around other teams. It's somewhat deserved. But the Bills are still there, and I'm going with the Bills.
Let's go to the North. So you can go first on this one, Mr. Aidan.
All right, I've got the Bengals. When Joe Burrow says something, I listen. He's just one of the proven winners that I truly believe in when he says something. And that quote where he said, "We have 3 Super Bowls. We'll be playing the Chiefs, and then the Eagles." He was like, the Chiefs in December, the Chiefs in January, and the Eagles in February. And when he talks, I listen. And Jamar Chase being healthy would also help. Yep. I think they'll be in a solid spot. I've got the Bengals.
So as I was writing these down, I started writing B for Bengals, and I crossed it out. I think this division is going to also be just a fight. It always is. I think these teams are going to beat each other up. Who knows how healthy Joe Burrow really is? God forbid something happens. They continue to win. But I think there's something there in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And I think the Steelers are going to try and find a way to win this division. I think Tomlin knows. You can see the way he's talking, right? The way he's walking. When he has that swag, he knows he's got something. I think their wide receiver core, Pickens, they got the Washington now, who's just a monster. TJ Watt, if he stays healthy, he's a complete difference maker. Herbig could be the steal of the draft that they got. So I think there's something brewing in Pittsburgh, and they're going to try and find a way to win this division.
Okay. I love the Pittsburgh love. Usually it's me who's like, I'm buying into the Steelers again.
Yep.
Neither of us went Ravens. That's going to piss people off. Foreshadowing, I will make it up to Ravens fans. Which division next? We got 2 left.
I have the West next, just because the South usually stinks in both.
Perfect.
They can go last.
It's time to shine for the West. I have the Los Angeles Chargers. No, I don't have the Chiefs.
Should we just go 1, 2, 3 together?
1, 2, 3, Chiefs.
1, 2, 3, Chiefs.
Done. Thank you.
I don't think there needs to be any explanation.
Do you have any hope in the Broncos' resurgence or the Chargers?
I mean, I think the Chargers have a chance to be offensively very good. I think Kellen Moore is going to, he's going to put up stats for Herbert. I feel like I can never believe in their defense.
No
matter what. And they're just going to blow leads. So,
or their coach.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm right. They've just burned me too many times.
Yep.
They've broken my heart too many times. Chargers fans, I'm sorry. I love you, but you've done it to me too many times. I can't come back. All
right, let's go South.
Okay, this one is fun because this division stinks, but I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's crazy. Trevor Lawrence was the #1 college quarterback since Andrew Luck, and then they put him with a coach who is good with quarterbacks, and now he looks good. Crazy how that works. So I'm just believing in that, and I like the weapons around him. Bringing Calvin Ridley, I think that was a low risk, high reward gamble that they took with him. And they've got Christian Kirk as well, who I really, really like, and I think he's underrated. One of those few, you invest in wide receivers as a free agent, and sometimes they don't work, like the Kenny Galladay thing, and Kirk's been awesome that first year. Yep. So I really like the way that the Jags are trending with ETN, and we'll see what Tanks Bigsby is in the backfield as well.
I don't need to give much analysis because I have the same pick. I have the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they are going to be the class of this division, if you want to call it that. And I think they're going to have a chance. If they can peak kind of like they did last year towards the end of the season again, they're going to have a chance to win a playoff game or two. I think if Trevor Lawrence continues to put this together with Peterson at the helm, head coaching him, I think they can take the next step, and they do have weapons. So I'm actually, this is like the first season where I'm going into it now, apart from his rookie year, excited to watch Trevor Lawrence now play in the NFL. I think he can do things. So let's jump to the NFC. I was thinking we go northwest, southeast.
Northwest, southeast. Okay, that is actually the order that I have it. I just needed to think quick. Perfect. The North, I'll start because I think this is the hottest take that I have. I have the Packers. A lot of hype around the Lions. I do somewhat believe in what they're building in terms of offensive talent with Jahmyr Gibbs, Jameson Williams. We'll see what he is in week 7. And obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown's awesome. The Vikings, playoff team a year ago, won that division. I think there's something about the pressure that's been taking off with Aaron Rodgers leaving, a lot less headlines, where Jordan Love and that team can just play. And sometimes that turns into wins. When there's no pressure and you say, let's ball, sometimes that turns into positive results. I got the Packers.
I love that. And I had the Packers to start as well. But then I crossed it out and put the Lions down just because I want them to win this division. I want them to be good, right? They're starting the season against the Chiefs, probably going to start 0-1. But, that Jared Goff was like almost like in Toy Story, like when Andy was just done with playing with Woody. That's kind of what the Rams did with him. And he's resurgence in a town like Detroit has been great. I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. I have two personal friends on that team, Craig Reynolds from Kutztown.
KU.
I'm rooting for these guys.
KU,
baby. So I want them to be good. The coach is just come on, man. I just want to eat some kneecaps, man. There's just everything we can to finally root for them. And I also want them to be good. So, we have another good Thanksgiving Day game. I don't just want to be stomped on. So I'm rooting for the Lions. So I have the Lions. Out west, I'm going 49ers. That defense is going to be phenomenal again. We'll see what Brock Purdy can do, but with Shanahan, it seems like he can make any quarterback win except for his third or fourth quarterback when you're playing in the most important game of the season in Philadelphia. But I think they're going to be very good. Obviously, Bosa just got paid. He's fresh too because he didn't get through any kind of beating through camp, so he's going to start off fire. I have the 49ers.
I have the 49ers as well. You really got to look out for this team on the way to the Super Bowl. Brock Purdy, the second coming of Christ himself. Kyle Shanahan, absolute genius. Schematically, he never screws up in terms of timeouts and big situations. There's never been situations where they were out schemed, where a pass rusher was left against backup tight ends and hurt their quarterback. That's never happened. You look at their skill position players, guys like Deebo Samuel, preach accountability at all times. And when you have something like that, that culminates in a winner and never, ever a sore loser. So I have the 49ers coming out of the West.
Love it. How about the South?
I have the Saints. Have you looked at the Saints first 8 weeks of their schedule?
Yes.
If TikTok, if you're listening, go look at the Saints schedule and the quarterbacks they play for about the first 10 weeks. I have no further explanation as to why I'm choosing the Saints aside from that. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Derek Carr there, but just look at their schedule and the quarterbacks they play.
For that reason, and not that reason alone, but I'm picking the Saints as well. They went out and got Derek Carr, such an upgrade. This roster still is talented, right? They have talent. They have Chris Olave. We'll see if Michael Thomas can actually put it together at all. Again, Kamara, I know he's suspended for a couple games, but then he'll be back. And that defense, right? Cam Jordan's still there. I think they have a chance to ball out. I think they have a chance to take a good lead in that division too. I think they're going to be much better than people think. I have the Saints. So
it is time. NFC East division predictions. Would you like to go first? Would you like me to go first?
See, I'm still battling on this because for the show, right, I have to pick the Cowboys, right? If I don't, people are like, but in my heart is hearts, like we've said, I don't think the talent gap is big, but I think the talent gap is there. I think the Eagles have a chance and should win this division, I believe. But fuck that. I have to pick the Cowboys. So go Cowboys. Cowboys are going to win this division. Nobody has won this division back-to-back years in 84 years. So that trend continues. Dallas Cowboys in a tight street fight towards the end of the year, win this division by 1 game.
I'm back and forth as well. Like you said, it's for the show, you almost have to pick the Eagles, but there's so much going on and it's so tough, nearly impossible to win this division back-to-back years. We've seen that so many times. The talent gap between a lot of these teams, even the Giants, so it's really tough to pick the Eagles. No, it's not. It's the Eagles. I'm so excited for this offensive trio around Jalen Hurts and what could be an MVP campaign with Goddard, Smith, AJ Brown, 4 different running backs to believe in. And I'm so excited to watch the Georgia kids on the defensive line, Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith, getting after the quarterback. Is this the year Hassan Reddick gets the national recognition as a top 5 defensive end in the league? Let's hope so. We'll see. It's the Eagles. Let's go.
That's what we have to do. That's what this show is about. And we will see how those division predictions go as the year goes on. We always like to check in as the season goes on and kind of see where we are. So we will continue to do that. So let's rattle off before we get these people out of here the awards that we go through. So we're going to do rookies first, offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year. Then we will go through offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, and MVP not named Patrick Mahomes. So I will let you go first with rookie of the year on the offensive side.
Cool. I don't know if this one's controversial or not. I have CJ Stroud. I just think that these awards tend to go quarterback. Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, is going to get a lot of touches in Detroit and could play for this. But I think they go quarterback, and I really like Stroud because I think the Texans will lose, but they're going to be in games, and he'll be throwing the ball. Throwing the ball leads to stats. That's just kind of my thinking. I've got CJ Stroud. I think there'll be moments with him and like Tank Dell where we're like, all right, the Texans might have something. So I've got him. And unlike the Colts, they were like, oh, we have a running back next to him that we can utilize in Dameon Pierce. So this will be good.
So I thought about Anthony Richardson here. I've thought about Bijan Robinson here.
Another one.
I think Bijan is going to touch the ball a ton and have a chance to win this, but he's going to be on we don't know what type of team. And I also think Anthony Richardson is going to flash this season, but I think he also has a chance to lead the league in interceptions. So that may bring down the stock a little bit. So I'm going Bryce Young. He's probably the smartest player in this draft. He's playing for a team that you and I are both rooting for in the Panthers, who I think are going to be better than the team that people think this year. So I'm rooting for him, and I think he has a chance to actually win this. So I'll go defensive player of the year for the rookies, and I'm going Jalen Carter. He was the steal of the draft at 10. I think he's been dominating in preseason. He's playing on arguably the best defensive line in football, and he's not going to be asked to do everything. So that means every time he's in there, he's going to make such an impact. And I think he is going to be the defensive player of the year on the rookies side.
I have Jalen Carter as well. It's hard to go against him. I don't ask for much in life, but I would just like to sit down once every Sunday and be like, how the hell did you let this kid fall at 9 in the draft? I think it could happen. Will Anderson, I also considered because defensive ends, he'll have more productivity in terms of stats, but I think Jalen Carter is just going to be a disruptor. And I'm very, very excited to watch him play. I feel like I've got that shiny new toy again.
All right. I'll let you go first on this one. So we're going with the overall now offensive player of the year.
Okay. This almost has to be the except for Justin Jefferson award. And I thought that way, but I think I have a guy who could mirror Justin Jefferson. I've got Jamar Chase. Chase was still a top 5 receiver last year, even with missing time with injury. And obviously they had a game that they just flat out had to postpone. So I think Jamar, with Joey B back, I am believing in the Bengals to win the division, and I have got him winning Offensive Player of the Year.
So I'm staying in the wide receiver room here. Not Justin Jefferson. Not Jamar Chase. I'm going DJ Moore. I think the way that they are going to use him in Chicago is going to be unbelievable. He is going to touch the ball probably a minimum of 4 to 5 times on every single drive. We saw what he did in the preseason, those dink and dunks, 4-yard passes. He's taken it 85 yards. I think he's rejuvenated. I think he is the most underrated receiver in the league. And I think his stock is so up. And I think, like I said, they're just going to utilize him so many different ways. And he's just going to have such a volume of touches that he's just going to ball out.
Interesting. I feel like you get like half credit if it's Justin Fields because of DJ Moore's influence. Does that count? I feel like that's got to count at least a little bit, right? Yep. Okay, fair. Defensive player of the year, I've got TJ Watt. I think I do this every year. I don't know. He's to me, when he's healthy, he's the most dominant force in the league, and it's not just sacks. The amount of times he can get his hand up, get deflections, force turnovers, force picks even. I'm just always on the TJ Watt train. I'm going to do it again because I think that the Steelers hypothetically, theoretically, should be better on defense than they were a year ago, and it'll be better with him. So I've got TJ
Watt. For me, it's Micah Parsons. The work that he's put in this offseason, he's talking differently. He looks differently. The way he was at training camp 2 years ago, they're like, yeah, he just kind of was like moving around. Didn't seem like he was that into it just because he's that good. But now he is like literally been an animal on every single snap, holding others accountable, trying to elevate everybody else around him. I mean, he was practicing with Andrew Whitworth this offseason, DeMarcus Ware. He's tweeting about being a Super Bowl champion all the time. I think he's one of those like mental guys too, like put it in the universe. I'm going to make it happen. I think he is going to be a freak this season. I think he's going to learn from the way his second half of the season went last year when he was beat up and kind of was unproductive. He's going to learn to, take care of his body more and just be a machine. So I'm going Micah Parsons.
I saw Micah was at Champs after the Penn State game on Saturday night, and it's great because it's like us and our heroes. We're not so different after all.
For this
last one.
I still don't have anything written down for this one, so this is going to be on the fly.
Okay, I guess I'm going first then. Mine, I don't even know if this is a hot take, but it's probably so. To clarify, this is MVP, not named Patrick Mahomes, who should probably win every year. I have Lamar Jackson. He has his big contract that he wanted. They have changed the offense so it is now pass first spread instead of run emphasis heavy. They have invested around him. He's got a healthy Mark Andrews. They brought in Odell. They drafted Zay Flowers. There are no more excuses for the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. This is it. Former MVP should return to MVP glory this year with the infrastructure that has been invested in him and around him. Lamar for MVP.
All right, so I'm picking this one out of nowhere here, but I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers just because of the hype. I don't want it to be, but I kind of want the storylines all year of him like
a villain
being good and being on Pat McAfee every week, and he just so rejuvenated with the Jets. He does have a lot of weapons around him. I think he has a chance to be really good. I think he was so unmotivated last year, and now that's changing. I think it's still in him. So I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers for MVP, not named Patrick Mahomes.
I think that'd be a good one. It would be like JJ Redick at Duke. Just
as the sun is just peeking in my windows here.
Yeah, it's getting you good.
Love it.
It's trying to hit a fastball in the shadows.
All right, let's get the people out of here because they just want to go watch the Thursday Night Football.
Let's do it. All right, on TikTok, you can find these predictions at Birds vs. Boys Pod. Same thing goes for Twitter, and you can find us on YouTube, Birds vs. Boys. Subscribe on Spotify, Apple, anywhere that there are podcasts. You'll find this show with the full breakdown, predictions, everything. We'll be back because we'll have game reactions, the first ones that we can do. That should be fun. Next week, full show, interviews, everything. We are so freaking back. I love it.
We're back, baby. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the first week of football and go like, subscribe, and comment on everything. If you don't, Aidan's going to find you.
Yes.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds vs. Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upside alert. Upside alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there.
There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach.
That is?
Be the team you promised me you were going to be this year! This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.